on fraud charges. She thanked fans for their support on Instagram as she and her husband face 16 charges tied to a false insurance claim. She has also resigned from her position at Wesleyan University. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Escape the confines of the city for the expansive beauty of the Santa Ynez Valley with a short 2-hour drive up the coast. Let Chumash Casino Resort be your destination getaway. Welcome to freedom. Go to chumashcasino.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams reminded everybody that they are a legitimate contender in the NFC. They went over to London and delivered a 35-7 beatdown over Jacksonville Sunday morning. 5 touchdown passes for Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, 3 to wide receiver Devontae Adams. The Rams are 5-2. They're in the first place tied with San Francisco in the NFC West. The Chargers forgot to bring their defense to SoFi Stadium. They lost to Indianapolis 34-24. The 4-3 Chargers gave up 401 yards in total offense. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor had 3 rushing touchdowns. The Dodgers still don't know who they're going to play in the World Series. Seattle and Toronto will meet up for a decisive Game 7 tonight in the American League Championship Series. Toronto won Game 6 last night 6-2. First pitch tonight at 5 o'clock on Fox Sports. The World Series starts on Friday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum at LA Trade. As you know by now, our major include Professor Richard Wolf and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. But listen to some of these plenaries: fighting for Black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts, and building patient power from seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA, theater, the force for change, voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing. Racism on the left, building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County, Committee for the First Amendment, and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now. KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. We'll see you there.
So sweet. But now she got me smoking out the window. Kids running around my home crib like mac and cheese. Me and the expert and see. I can't believe it. Just believe this. Got me feeling diamonds on the neck, on the wrist, and here I am all alone, cold, cold. Open up the window. How could you do this to me? Just the other night, she was gripping on me tight.
LA Talk 1580. Yeah, I'm laughing because Carl Tucker says, Dominique, don't be so cold on your collars. That's Fred. It's not all my collars. It's just Fred. He's a Republican that always tries to beat me. And he's actually apparently pretty good at it. In any case, it's time for Messy Monday. Looking forward to talking with ZaZa Ali. She is parking right now. But look, I wanted to let you know that Sahara Ali and Rashid Jibri are doing a Relax, Retune, Restore. It's a healing sound bath. It's Saturday from 6 to 7:30 at the Yoga House in Pasadena. You have to be on time because they lock the doors and then you can't get in. But it's in person only in the studio. Space is limited. You can call 626-403-3961 to reserve a spot, 626-403-3961, or just get there and get there early because, like I said, they do close the doors and you won't be able to get in. You gotta bring a yoga mat, and that's it. And sound healing is so Yoga House is at 11 West State Street in Pasadena, and yeah, hope you can make it. I love, love, love that so much. Also, while I have a moment here, setting the table for a messy Monday, um, I want to remind you that we are filling up. There's still some space left, but the Left Coast Forum is free and it's going to be a blast. It's at Trade Tech on Saturday. Go to KBLA1580.com, KBLA1580.com, and you can register, sign up so you know you're coming. Also, while you're there, I mean, while you're at it, you get the app. It's KBLA 1580 on the platform. Stop by our socials, and they're at KBLA 1580 everywhere. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, all of that makes us stronger, helps us stay viable as a startup, as a Black-owned enterprise. And mine is Duprima Radio, Diprima. I know y'all like to call me Dupree and all kinds of other stuff. It's Duprima Radio. Just call me. It's all good. And I even have a YouTube channel. I would love to see you there. I'm on TikTok now. I'm doing things, and I would love to see you. So the whole concept of Messy Monday is finding out the rules of relationships as you see them, as I like to say, my opinionated friends see them. Some of them are new friends that I'm going to meet today, like ZaZa Ali. Them are old friends. This all started when my friend Big John started telling me his theories about relationships, and I said, "What, really?" So the whole so thank you, John. The whole series was meant to be one of our friends, our opinionated friends with a whole lot to say about dating, relationships, and single life. It's gonna be with us and stir the pot. I want us to think about our love lives. Um, it's the 3rd Monday of every month, and we have experts, yes, we also have just opinionated folks. We have, shrinks people in the dating scene. If you're interested, DM me. Go to Deprima Radio on Instagram. That's the fastest way to contact me is on IG in the DMs. I look at my DMs on IG most of all. Just DM me and let me know your expertise, your situationship, your knowledge, and your theories. Make it happen because I really want to hear from a range of people. And some of the folks who say the most outrageous things about relationships, their rules, their deal breakers, their thoughts on it, really make me think and evaluate, well, where am I and what do I think, and am I even meeting my own standards about love and dating? And then, we follow it up with Black Marriage Monday because it's not just about mess, it's about being aware, spending some time in thought, and being intentional. Our love that. ZaZa Ali joins me next. KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. Progressive Politics, KBLA Talk 1580.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-297-1563 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options, and no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-297-1563. That's 800-297-1563. What do you have to lose? Call 800-297-1563. Again, 800-297-1563.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
With Civic Tax Relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay had I not reached out to them.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies.
I owe the IRS $37,000.
They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS. By the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-285-3500. 800-285-3500. Don't wait. Call now. 800-285-3500. 800-285-3500.
September is World Alzheimer's Month, a time to shine a light on a public health crisis that deeply impacts Black families. One in 5 Black adults ages 70 and older is living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD, and the risk is twice as high compared to white adults. But AD isn't just forgetting a name or losing track of time. Signs of early AD could be repeating questions, missing appointments, or struggling with bills and daily tasks. These things aren't a normal part of aging. Here's the good news. Treatments are available that may help if AD is diagnosed early. If you notice changes in memory or daily routine, whether in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and the treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com to learn more about the signs and symptoms and a potential treatment option. This is brought to you by ZaZa.
About this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with chicken and cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love different varieties. Real, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for food.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests pay for their testimonials.
This is KBLA 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
You do, and I'm really excited to have a new friend joining us in the studio. Just met her right now. Her Instagram says she's an alchemist, spiritual liaison, a writer of metaphysics workbooks, ancient people history textbook, and we'll touch on all that. But the theme is Messy Monday, and certainly as a mama, a teacher, and activist, and radio personality, and author in her own right, she's got plenty of things to say about relationships. Novelist, first novel, Black Matters, Volume 1, a frequent speaker on behalf of women and children. ZaZa Ali, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Peace and love to your audience.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. It's much appreciated. I always love when folks are face to face.
Yeah.
So this Messy Monday idea was really created because I feel like we need to talk about the things we do and just not normalize all kinds of weird stuff that's going on, and also set aside some time as activists and conscious people to actually focus on relationships, not just only politics all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And it's definitely a conversation that is very consistent and expansive in the culture, but I don't know if it's being talked about in a healthy and progressive way. And you know, apologetic progressives. Hopefully we can get into that as well.
Yeah, well, I have this theory that a lot of the really most pathological stuff that's happening in relationships, particularly between Black men and women, is very online. I don't know, but what do you think? Is it just living online, or is this now spreading into the real life world of dating and relationships?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the internet and the social media world is definitely affecting how Black men and women engage and interact with one another. I think it is giving a false impression of more options than you actually have available, right? on both sides. I think the music, the entertainment industry is definitely affecting effect on that. Chuck D said at one point that attention is the new currency, right?
Yeah.
And so because everybody, or not everybody, but most people are online vying for attention, it's affecting the way that we handle one another and the way we treat one another. And everybody has access to a microphone and a camera now, right? And so these people who are in alignment with the anti-black sentiment or the anti-black male or anti-black woman sentiment, they now have a platform, and people who agree with that mindset can magnify that platform. So I think it's a number of things.
Yeah. That's interesting. I was talking to a young man that I know who's actually looking for a wife, and he's really sincerely looking for a wife. It's the cutest thing. But he said that he thinks he's getting unrealistic expectations from scrolling on Instagram.
Yeah.
So when he meets real life girls, they don't live up to what he sees. And I think, oh, that's not my wife. She doesn't look like that girl with the filter on.
Yeah. Well, I have a workbook called Keys to Womanhood, and in it I talk about this dysmorphia now in terms of how women are seeing themselves. And we have a culture now of young women that are going to plastic surgeons and wanting to look like the filters that are on social media, right? So there is this unrealistic expectation of perfection, of beauty, as well as everybody's online really showing the best part of themselves. Nobody's really online talking about the real nitty gritty of their lives. And so attracted to the best parts, and then you have to deal with the other parts of all of us. People aren't really prepared for that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, some would say it's easy for you to say that, ZaZa. You look like the people after the filters in real life.
Yeah.
Like you're a beautiful woman. So easy for you to sit there and say, you shouldn't be getting plastic surgery or this or that.
Yeah, well, there are plenty of beautiful women that are chopping and screwing themselves, right? We
Yeah.
have the BB culture now. Plastic surgery is a part of the mainframe, so to speak. But the physical beauty is only one aspect, right? You might be able to draw a man in. Physical beauty doesn't equate to respect, right? And the difference between attention and respect, which a lot of women learn in real life, right? You get attention online, but run into men or deal with men who are not necessarily going to respect you. So respect has to be earned. And I think that young women in particular need to understand that just because you look a certain way or you're trying to look a certain way, it doesn't necessarily garner respect. So the physical aspect is only one aspect, but you know the saying, the prettiest people do the ugliest things, right? So
Yep.
there's that aspect as well. So what does your heart look like, right? What does your mind look like? How do you show up energetically? How do you add value to the environment, to the world? I know a lot of beautiful fools,
Yeah,
right?
I
LA
mean,
is full of them.
yes, it is.
So
Ooh.
that's only part of the equation, right?
Bars. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so two things about that. On the one hand, I was looking on Instagram and Ruby Rose is on there complaining that I look this good and I'm still single, and
Yeah.
everyone's saying pretty much what you're saying, that is inside and outside.
Yeah. Well, what is Ruby Rose known for? Right? She's leading with her sex and selling sex, so to speak. So she's going to attract a certain type of man that is looking for that, right? And that comes with a certain type of energy. If you're vibrating that, if you're radiating that, then you're going to attract a man who's necessarily attractive or who's just looking for that. So he's not worried about the quality of your heart or the countenance of your spirit or your, any substantive sort of values like that. And then you water so you attract a certain type of man based on the way you carry yourself, and then you have to deal with the residuals of that.
Yeah, Morris says in the YouTube chat that relationships need money and Jesus, otherwise people start acting stupid. Do you think that's right? I mean, you remember the whole conversation about you can't take me to the Cheesecake Factory, and
The bar's too low. That's such a low bar when it comes to, like Cheesecake Factory and going 50-50. And I mean, I've never been out with a man, first of all, that expected me to pay half for a date, right? For a meal. I've offered even with just my male friends, and it's kind of like disrespectful in a sense, right? So I didn't grow up in the world. I don't have those type of
you know what? I
experiences.
don't either. Now that you say it,
I'm not
and I don't know. I wouldn't mind picking up here and
I
there.
wouldn't either. I've offered.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
like
have a problem with
it's
that.
it's kind of like a joking thing. Like, what do you mean? No, we're not doing that. But
Yeah.
yeah, the bar on the conversations is just slow. When we're talking about the Cheesecake Factory and we're leading, yeah, what was the original question? What the guy said in the chat?
Well, he said it's about money. Relationships need money and Jesus. So the question is,
So, I mean, yeah, but before we get to that point, before we even start talking about money, are we even compatible? He said Jesus, I would say spirituality, right? Are we aligned in terms of our spiritual what's your relationship with your mother like, right? What's your relationship with your children like? Do you have children? What's your relationship with your ex like, right? High quality relationships with the women in your life. Those are more important things. We can get to the money conversation, but we don't lead with that because I men who are in a position of power or success, and I'm just talking about men because I'm a woman, who don't really have a high quality of spiritual sort of substance, right? Might be a little bit more arrogant or yeah, I have money, so you have to do what I say. There's a lot of things that come with that. Powerful men have a tendency to lack in terms of their heart countenance, right? And the things that they value and the things that are of substance. So that's not a conversation out the gate for me. It's important because it's a part of our reality, but that's not a starter for me.
right, right. It's a one component. It's not the only component.
Of many components. Yes, but I have dated men and been in relationships with men with money that lacked a lot in terms of being quality.
I'm laughing because I was about to tell a story I probably shouldn't tell.
Do tell.
When I was very young,
Mhm.
well, I decided to go on one date with this, local drug dealer who had been trying to get me to go out with him for a
Okay.
long time. He had
Mhm.
tons of money,
Mhm.
and I did. I went on one date with him, and no shade to, everybody in the community, but dude, I mean, exactly what you're saying, this idea that I'm gonna be paying for everything, so you can't even breathe with me telling you that it's okay.
Yeah.
Whether you're gonna breathe through your mouth or through your nose and at what intervals, and
Yeah.
also, he was gross, like, the way he was eating, the food was spewing out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't.
But imagine how many women will play that game and stay on that train, so to speak, just because of the money. I've dated professional athletes, right? Men that had, are famous or that in power positions, in terms of, different industries and whatnot. And it just left a lot to be desired in terms of conversation, right? Okay, you got money. Okay, you pulled up in a big body. Now what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about, what's the last book you read? Let's talk about what are the things you value. And it leaves a lot to be desired. So, it's part of the equation, but it's not the end. And, this high value conversation has sort of skewed our perspective of manhood.
Okay. You just touched a nerve.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Paul says Dominique went out on a date with Nino Brown from New Jack City. And Danny Truth Magnified said, if all we needed was money and Jesus, every Christian couple would be leading healthy relationships.
Okay.
Although not every Christian couple has money, but
Yeah.
point taken. The the thing that you touched on is this high value man concept, which I guess Kevin Samuels really popularized it.
Yeah.
So if there's high value men and high value women, does that mean other people are low value?
I mean, it just, that let me just take a moment so I don't get triggered, right? And I say triggered lightly, I'm being facetious, but,
Uh-huh.
you know, what constitutes as a high value man? That conversation is led by money. That conversation is led by the type of car you drive, right? And again, I have been in rooms and had conversations and even dated men that would be considered high value in terms of what they have and what they have achieved. But in terms of mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I wouldn't qualify them as high value men, right? So the qualification for me is physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. How are you tapped in? Where are you resonating? And then about low value. There's this thing. Someone asked me a question about women, mediocre women, or like a five, women who are considered like fives or six, right? And I was so offended by the question because it's just like, why are we putting women in this box where it's like if you don't look a certain way, if you don't have a certain sort of look, that it automatically deranks you. You might not fit a certain scale in terms of physical looks, but the power of your mind or the countenance of your heart, being a good-hearted person, or like your success in your field, in your industry would make you top tier, right? So just estimating ourselves, qualifying ourselves just based on looks, just based on money is a big part of why we're having this conversation. They don't like I want a Birkin bag before you take me out on the date, right? But then you got 50 Cent out here saying to have a baby by me, be a millionaire, right? So there's this element in our culture that's magnifying materialism, but then you get mad when you run into a woman that only wants you because of your money. And it's on both sides. It's like professional prostitution happening right in front of our eyes.
Ooh, yeah, well said. I mean, I always say that if you don't want a gold digger, why are you using gold as the
Reel her
bait?
in.
You know, why is that the bait? Um, Paulosa says, I think try to start looking for love instead of allowing it to find you. Let it happen naturally. Physical attraction is less important than spiritual attraction for him. That's what he says, and mental attraction. That's what he says. I think a lot of men say that, but we see how they act. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's on both sides.
Mhm.
But one of the reasons people are running out to cut and paste our bodies and faces is because men say that, "Oh, I don't like a woman with makeup. I like a natural body." And then we see them on Instagram with this giant BBL girl with a glued-on wig and a whole bunch of makeup. So we're following the actions, not the words.
Yeah. Well, I think some of that too, I talked about in my dysfunction. There is this weird mixture of vanity mixed with low self-esteem that is very in our culture, particularly with the women, right? So nobody right? So always tell young girls and women in particular, whatever you see the masses, the direct going the other way, right? Find a way to stand out for who you really truly authentically are, because in 10 years your body is not going to look the same. And quiet is kept, and I say this tongue in cheek, a lot of men are not attracted to that. I talk to so many men between my social media platforms and conversations with people that I work with. A lot of men that actually have substance, the type of men that women actually say they want, are not attracted to that. They want natural women. They want women who actually are authentic and true to themselves. Now, what they're doing online, what they're attracting, and who they're actually taking out, they're going to get what they bargain for, right? If you're dealing with a surface level woman, then you're going to get surface level quality, output.
Yeah, a lot of interesting points in there. We'll probe a little deeper. It's a messy Monday. You're welcome to call in. It's 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580 if you want to call in. I have seen that online too. Um, you know, men, especially talking about hair,
Mhm.
because the wigs have become so popular.
Yeah.
In talking about, and I feel like I've heard a lot of wear braids, wear straight, wear curly, wear whatever you want, but wear your hair.
Mhm.
But again, is that just what they're saying? Is that what they think they should say, or is that what they're doing? We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then more with Zaza Ali on a messy Monday. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming your time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One Sunday, President Trump dismissed the weekend's No Kings protest as laughable, saying he's no king and works hard for Americans.
The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out.
Millions rallied nationwide Saturday with major turnouts in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Chick-fil-A in Augusta, Georgia has apologized after Sergeant Tracy Reed, a black officer, said he was the only one in his group not offered a free meal when they walked in to order. Reed called the experience humiliating and racially biased. And so Brandy walked off stage mid-show in Chicago during the Boys' Mind Tour, citing dehydration and sound issues. Monica finished the concert solo, and fans left without hearing their iconic duet. Brandy said she's recovering and rejoined the tour the next night. KBAN News now on demand 24/7 on the radio app.
Escape the confines of the city, expansive beauty of the Santa Ynez Valley with a short 2-hour drive up the coast. Let Chumash Casino Resort be your destination getaway. Welcome to freedom. Go to chumashcasino.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams reminded everybody that they are a legitimate contender in the NFC. They went over to London and delivered a 35-7 beatdown over Jacksonville Sunday morning. 5 touchdown passes from Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, 3 to wide receiver Devontae Adams. The Rams are 5-2. They're in the first place tied with San Francisco in the NFC West. The Chargers forgot to bring their defense to SoFi Stadium. They lost to Indianapolis 34-24. The 4-3 Chargers gave up 401 yards in total offense. Coach running back Jonathan Taylor had 3 rushing touchdowns. The Dodgers still don't know who they're going to play in the World Series. Seattle and Toronto will meet up for a decisive Game 7 tonight in the American League Championship Series. Toronto won Game 6 last night 6-2. First pitch tonight at 5 o'clock on Fox Sports. The World Series starts on Friday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More opinions and conversation with Weekly Four on KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in a National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. Now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters. And the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 on November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50. The election rating response act. Governor Newsom's ballot measure. Ad committee's top funders. HMP for Prop 50 and Fund for Policy Reform.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. As you know now, our major keynoters include Professor Richard Wolf and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. Listen to some of these plenaries fighting for black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts, and building patient power from seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA, theater as a force for change, voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing. Racism on the left, building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County. Commitment for the First Amendment and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. We'll see you there.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has workforce centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. CareerOneStop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free.
You in LA, Baba's Vegan Cafe.
Yes.
It'll be November 1st. What's the time?
Doors open o'clock will start around 5:45.
Okay, so
Mhm.
5 p.m. until you stop, and
Yes.
that's gonna be the first Saturday of every
First
month?
Saturday every month.
Love that.
Yes.
That's so dope.
Thank you.
You know, just a place where people can come hang out, talk stuff through, chop it up. I also feel like fellowship is more important than usual right
Yeah,
now.
for sure. And, we talk so much about turning up. Well, we really need to be focused on turning up. And so this is one of those events where that's gonna be the focus,
Yeah, that's a good point. Looking inside,
Mhm.
do you have rules of dating, rules of courtship?
I don't. I don't date a lot. I mean, I have friends, but I don't date a lot because it's there has to be a certain energy and a certain vibe for me with a man. And I don't go out a lot because I'm a homebody and a nerd. So I have to be connected to a man mentally and energetically, and then there has to be some sort of spiritual substance there for me. So, but the friends that I do have, or the dates that I do go on, we have fun, and we talk, and we have good experiences with one another. But I don't have rules and regulations. I think because of the way I carry myself and the rules and regulations I have for myself, it sets the tone for men that engage with me and interact with me. So it kind of trims the fat for me. Well, I don't really have to deal with that type of stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great way of being. I hear a lot of women of substance, women who've written 7 books or 1 book, or conscious women saying that they have trouble meeting men, that they
Yeah.
don't find qualified men, that, you know what we say.
Well, I think saying that and owning that is part of the issue, right? Because consciousness creates reality. And so a lot of us on the men, as far as men and women, like I said, the bar is so low on our conversations. We expect from experiences, obviously, and then what's happening in the broader consciousness, we're kind of all walking around expecting. How long have we been hearing the shortage of good black men, right?
Yeah.
We're constantly, the number in jail, the number who are no longer interested in women, right? The number who are
People get mad at me when I push back on that. Because for me, there's several things. One, you only need one.
Yes.
Unless you're poly.
Yes.
Right. 2, the statistics, they're spun a lot of the time. And then 3, especially this on talk show thing that black men don't like black women.
Yeah.
And vice versa. The majority, we choose each other more than any other group of people.
For sure. And I have, whether it's in terms of dating or just, platonic relationships, I have great, wonderful black men in my life, real kings, right? Who either, are in relationships or we're just platonic friends or whatever. So I'm not walking around with this mindset of there are no good black men out here, first of all. And then I always use this equation or this example of a pyramid, right? You have layers on the pyramid. The higher you go up the pyramid, we talk about quote unquote conscious women, right? The way you embody, the things you embody, or the level you're operating on. The higher you go up the pyramid, the less space there is, right? So there's going to be less men available at the top of the pyramid. Now, if you go down to the bottom, to the base level, and sort of lower your standards or your expectations, there's a wide open field of men, right? But if you are striving for a man who is mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically focused, you're going up to the top of the pyramid. But you also have to be physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally focused as well. You also have to be comfortable with being alone and being with yourself, not lonely, but being alone. And I think a big issue that a lot of us, particularly women, have, we don't know how to be alone. I'm very comfortable with being with myself, right? And so I'm not in a position or in a mindset where I'm constantly thinking about the lack of good men. It's a very big planet, right? There's black men all over the world. So the focus for me is just to embody what I want to attract in a relationship, and to not settle in the meantime, and also to not be focused in a lack-based consciousness. So much of our conversation is lack-based consciousness, and we're just repeating the cycle and magnifying the things that we don't want and attracting more of what we don't want. If you continuously have a pattern of attracting a certain type of man or a certain type of woman, right? I heard that Jennifer Lopez did an interview on Howard Stern, and she was talking about
never been loved.
all of the men are the problem. It's all them. It's all them.
Yeah,
like,
she's never been loved. She's been
come
married
on,
4
sis.
times, never been loved.
Come on, sis. So the self-awareness and the self-accountability and self-responsibility is critical. And I find in my conversations with black women, not all, but a lot of black women, there's a lot of finger pointing, and we don't want to be introspective and focus on ourselves and why we continue to attract the same patterns in relationships. So just the whole idea of getting a lot of pushback. Why? I'm trying to bring balance into the conversation. I'm trying to be, what the womanly, matriarchal, feminine perspective is supposed to be. We're supposed to be balanced. We give birth to both sexes. You have a son. I have a son, right? So I can't be out here on some anti-black male sentiment, because my son is a young man now. He's 22. So he's a part of the conversation when I talk about black men. So we have to be balanced about it. And we also have to take accountability for where we're resonating, and radiating, right? And that is what actually qualifies what we attract.
Okay, there's so many things in what you said that I want to follow up on. We're
Yes.
probably not even going to have time. But you said we need to embody what we want to attract. And you mentioned accountability, which I hear men complaining about all the time.
Yes.
That women, particularly Black women, do not take accountability. We deflect, we blame. Is that self-blaming, or is, you know what I mean? Like, what's the line between taking accountability, reflecting on our own part, and saying, I need to embody what I want to attract, and just blaming ourselves and not setting standards?
Because the real thing is not about embodying it to attract a man, right? It's about embodying it because it's in your best interest, right? Do you want to be a quality substantive woman because you want to attract a husband? Or do you want to be a quality substantive woman because you want to be a quality substantive woman, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing it for yourself to become your highest and best self, if you're doing it just particularly for a man and it's not true to your true authentic self, eventually that's going to shine through in the relationship, right? So I think that's a big disservice that has been inflicted on women, not just Black women, but all women, where we're out here like trying to find a way to get a man, trying to figure out the tools and the
secret
resources,
formula, act
to
like
get
a
married,
woman,
right?
think like a man,
It's so easy
jump
to get
like
married.
a kangaroo.
I can walk outside and trip over a rock and be married. Okay. So there's,
well, you're not everyone looks like you.
But I see women all the time that it's like, I have conversations with my friend where you'll see a woman that's like, quote unquote, not physically attractive, and she's booed up with her man and they in love and they on the beach or walking
all
and
the
hand
time,
in hand
God bless
all
them.
the time, right? So that's a part of the equation too, right? But so, embodying what you want to attract, not just because you want to attract something, but because you're striving to be your highest and best self. And that's for me. Like for me, I've been celibate for a long time, right? Intentionally, because I just don't want any regular random man touching my body. I have standards, right? Now, because of that, my energetic resonance, I'll go back to that. It's light. Right? My aura, my energetic field, I'm attracting a certain type of vibration and energy because I'm leading with that, not because I want to attract a man, but because I'm striving to be my highest and best self, right? So in that sort of, with that equation, if you will, what else can I attract but a man who is operating in that same state of mind? Not necessarily the celibate aspect, but like really striving to be his highest and best self. We are a culture that is radiating trauma nonstop.
Yeah.
Right. So that parallel with the lack-based consciousness, parallel with all of the negative projection that we get through the media and all of the different elements of the society, that with the, single parent households, and not even just the single parent households. A lot of people grew up in 2-parent households that are dysfunctional, right? Where they're not being fully valued in emotionally stable environments because the relationship between mom and dad isn't necessarily emotionally viable and stable, right? So we are constantly navigating all this lack-based consciousness. So to be able to still find value and self-love in the midst of all of that is the hardest thing in the world. Maintaining frequency is the hardest thing in the world, right? Getting in a position where you could like, okay, I got a good rhythm, I'm doing good, is one thing, but maintaining it,
keeping that rhythm
consistently is the hardest thing in the world.
That's the challenge right there. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the challenge right there.
Add that into the equation of relationships and what we call there's no good men or there's no good. I have this conversation with men all the time. I was having it the other day. And they get fired up, right? Because they are highly disappointed, we'll say, in the quality or the quantity of women out here. But then at the same time, okay, but if you keep running into those same type of females and you're engaging them and you're allowing, because they'll knock you down sexually, right? They'll take you and take on that sexual relationship. Well, now you're downloading her energy. Now you're downloading her consciousness. There's no such thing as casual sex, right? So you're having this relationship where you're intermingling with women that you know are not the quality and type of woman that you actually want. But that's where the self-love element comes in. A lot of our men, Black men in America in particular, are not emotionally, they don't have that self-love piece. They still haven't found a way to implement that within themselves and embody that. So they're attracting women that are on that same wavelength, or so it's a cycle.
So many good things. One of which is if you keep running into the same issue over and over again in relationships, J-Lo, then, it's you.
Yeah.
It's probably you.
Yeah. Slow your roll and be single for a minute and tap in with yourself.
I loved it when Iyanla Van Zant said we need to learn to be with ourselves, not by
sure.
ourselves.
Absolutely.
With ourselves, not by ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. We're talking with ZaZa Ali. It's a messy Monday. We're cleaning up some mess around here today. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
In San Diego, kids are standing up against big tobacco.
We are here to discuss the urgent issue of vapes being sold near schools and other places where people gather.
I was enticed, like so many others my age, and this is exactly how the tobacco market was trying to get me to react, and I was completely unaware.
Today, over 100 California communities restrict tobacco sales near youth spaces, like schools and parks. Learn how these teens and other Californians are beating big tobacco at undo.org.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop. A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580. The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It does continue right now on a messy Monday. And actually, I'm tremendously enjoying the conversation with ZaZa Ali. ZaZaAli.com. Is that what you said?
Yes.
ZaZaAli.
Yes.
ALI.com to get the
Yes.
book, to find
Yes.
out what's happening.
Mhm.
I say I'm tremendously enjoying it because you're just not messy at all. There's nothing messy about you.
I'll take that.
That's kind of cool for a messy Monday.
I mean, and the conundrum of that is that people want mess, So yeah,
Well, they claim they don't.
Like I said, I have these conversations with men all the time, and they're like fired up. I'm like, bro, I'm in your corner. Why are you? I get it. You have these issues with Black women, but you do know I don't represent that, right? You do know I'm in your corner, just like I'm in Black women's corner too. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's not necessarily what people want to hear, but it's what we need to hear.
Yeah, it's what we need to hear. And I'm laughing because women, I hear this all the time, and I've wondered it myself, that men like toxic women. They're like damsels in distress and in basket cases.
Well, yeah, and then we also hear that women like the bad guy, right?
Bad boys.
What that really is I call it radiating the void, right? A lot of times that ties back to your relationship with your father as a woman, and then your relationship with your mother as a man, and sometimes it's your relationship with your father as a man and your relationship with your mother as a woman, right? There's a big mother wound. A lot of women don't have high quality, healthy relationships with women in particular, right? So that's another element in that competition thing that we talked about before. It's because you don't have a healthy mindset in terms of sisterhood and in terms of other women.
Yeah, well, you can build that though. You can learn
For
it.
sure, you can.
And I always say the sisterhood is real, regardless of what's happening on the Real Housewives of Inglewood. You know, it's
Yeah, absolutely. But you have to be open and receptive to women and learning from women and loving women. We women, and the unfortunate thing about in religion in particular, women have been taken out of their positions in terms of being spiritual leaders, which is our natural in ancient times, is our natural position. We were the spiritual leaders, we were the healers, right? Men came to us for wisdom. They came and sat at the feet of the women in different parts of our culture to learn to be loved, to learn empathy and compassion. We are supposed to be leading with empathy and compassion as women. So how could we expect culturally our men to not have empathy and compassion if we ourselves are not embodying that?
yeah, so many things, so little time. Celibacy is not a choice that a lot of people can maintain.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's easy for me.
Why?
Because I can't even kiss a man that I'm not like attracted to, and I can't be attracted to you unless there is a mental and a spiritual connection. Not
Yeah.
saying like we gotta, have this deep. It doesn't have to be that deep, but there has to be a spark beyond just the physical. Like how people just, have one night stands and jump offs and stuff like that. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a part of the culture. I always get backlash from that, but yeah, you can't. Anybody
Do you
can't
get
just.
backlash from saying that you don't
I've got backlash.
approve of one night stands
Listen,
and
well,
jump
I
off?
didn't say I don't approve of it.
Or
I
that
said
you
I
don't
don't do
it,
it. Right. I've gotten backlash. People like I've said I've publicly like I've never been to a strip club. What? You never been to a strip club before? Like, why would I go to a strip club? I'm not into women. That's not my thing. Well, because it's this and it's that. Yeah, but why is that a big deal? Because I've never been in a strip club
Yeah,
before, right?
yeah.
So I'm probably what some people would consider kind of square in a certain sense, but I'm from Oakland, right? So I saw a lot
Yeah.
coming up, right? Pimp culture, Mac culture, right? I saw a lot of beautiful women get drawn into lifestyles and that lifestyle just took all of the life out of them, right? And I was always like, yeah, that's not gonna be me, right? And then I also had a lot of male friends. I'm a dude's girl, right? So I was listening to my cousins. I was listening to my homeboys on the block, the way they talked about women. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be that girl, right? And then, so there's a lot of things, right? But yeah, I have to be attracted to you in a deeper level for you to even kiss me, let alone actually touch my body. But I also understand how energy works. Like I said, there's no such thing as casual sex. When you share that intimacy with a person, you are actually downloading their energy and information, their data, so to speak. So you can take on certain types of, especially as women, because we're the receivers, right? You have the penetrator and the penetrated, So
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so there is a science behind that. And men think, oh, it's just that only pertains to women. No, that pertains to you as well. You are taking on a woman's energy. And then if you got 2 or 3 or 4 different women that you're taking on at a certain time, you wonder why you can't sit still.
You're a whole mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, the hour flew by. It's really nice to meet you, ZaZa Ali. I
Thank
hope
you
you'll
so
come
much.
back.
I will.
We can talk
Yeah, maybe next time
relationships.
we
We
can
can talk
and we
about
can
your
take some
ancient
calls
people.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Always open to that. Thank you so
Yes.
much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Tavis Smiley is up next. He is ready for you. He's got a big lineup. I don't know how he does it. 57 guests in 1 hour, but they're all going to be amazing and incredible. So he's live right here next. And of course, we've got our Tuesday, our Talking Point Tuesday on tap for tomorrow. So don't forget to join me for that. I'll see you on social media. Like my mama, the great Diane DePrima, used to say, history is now. Like I always say, we're making it together. Until tomorrow, be conscious, be well, look inside. One love.
Peace and love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One Sunday, President Trump dismissed the weekend's No Kings protests as laughable, saying he's no king and works hard for Americans.
The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out.
Millions rallied nationwide Saturday with major turnouts in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. A Chick-fil-A in Augusta